The north end of Boston smelled like garlic and rain that September evening. I'd made reservations at Nana's 6 weeks in advance, the same corner table where Aria and I had our first real date 23 years ago. The brick wall still displayed the same faded photos of Sicily, and honestly, I was counting on the nostalgia to work its magic. Logan, you didn't have to do all this, Aria said, but her smile didn't quite reach her eyes anymore. Hadn't for months. Now that I think about it, she looked good, though. I mean, she always did. 43 and still turned heads in that black dress I'd bought her last Christmas. Her dark hair fell in waves past her shoulders, and those green eyes that used to look at me like I hung the moon. Now they kept darting to her phone. 23 years, babe. That's worth celebrating. I reached across the red checkered tablecloth for her hand. She let me take it, but her fingers felt cold, distant, like she was already somewhere else. Mom, Dad. Luna burst through the restaurant door, shaking rain from her umbrella. Our daughter, 24, fresh out of Boston College, with a psychology degree and opinions about everything. She'd inherited her mother's looks and, unfortunately, her mother's talent for keeping secrets. Sorry I'm late. Professor Marshall kept us after. She kissed my cheek, then hugged her mother. They held on a beat too long, and when they pulled apart, something passed between them. A look quick, but I caught it. You joining us for dinner, sweetheart? I asked. Can't stay long, meeting friends downtown. Luna slid into the booth next to Arya, but I wanted to say, happy anniversary. The waiter brought our wine, a Chianti I'd specifically requested because it was what we'd drunk that first night. Arya's phone buzzed. She grabbed it like a lifeline. It's Grace, she said quickly. Too quickly. She's having issues with Mom again. Her sister Grace lived in Worcester. Their mother was in assisted living in Brooklyn. The geography didn't add up, but I let it slide. You do that after 23 years. You let things slide. Tell her we'll visit this weekend, I said. Arya's thumbs flew across the screen. Luna watched her, then glanced at me with this expression I couldn't read. Pity? Guilt? I honestly couldn't tell anymore. So, Dad, Luna said, filling the silence, how's the Seaport project going? Good, real good. We're ahead of schedule. I was supervising the construction of a new office complex down by the water. Honest work, good money. The kind of job that meant Arya could work part-time at that boutique in Back Bay if she wanted, or not work at all, whatever made her happy. But nothing seemed to make her happy anymore. Arya's phone buzzed again and again. Jesus, what's Grace's crisis this time? The words came out sharper than I intended. She's upset, okay? Arya snapped back. Not everyone can just compartmentalize their feelings like you, Logan. Luna touched her mother's arm, another look between them. I should go, Luna announced suddenly. Let you two enjoy your anniversary. She left in a whirl of perfume and apologies. And then, it was just us. 23 years, and we couldn't find anything to talk about except the breadsticks. 2 weeks later, Luna called a family meeting. Sunday brunch at our house in Quincy. I was in the garage reorganizing my tools. You know how it is. Sometimes you need to keep your hands busy. When she and Arya came in from the kitchen, Dad, we need to talk. Those 4 words, nothing good ever followed them. We sat around the dining room table, the one we'd bought at an estate sale in Cambridge our first year married. Arya had refinished it herself, spent 3 weeks sanding and staining until it gleamed, back when she cared about things like that. I've been doing a lot of reading, Luna started, sliding a folder across the table, about modern relationships, about how monogamy is actually a social construct that doesn't work for everyone. I stared at the folder like it might bite me. What? Professor Marshall says that humans aren't naturally monogamous, that forcing ourselves into these rigid structures is what causes so much unhappiness. Professor Marshall. I was starting to hate that name. Luna, what does this have to do with us? But even as I asked, I felt the ground shifting under my feet. Arya cleared her throat. Logan, I've been unhappy for a while now. There it was. The thing we'd been dancing around for months, maybe years. We can try counseling again, I said quickly. Find a better therapist this time. I think we should consider opening our marriage. The words hung in the air like smoke. I couldn't breathe. You mean I couldn't even say it? Polyamory, Luna supplied helpfully. Ethical non-monogamy. Lots of couples are doing it. It actually strengthens relationships by removing the pressure of being everything to one person. I looked between my wife and daughter. You two planned this conversation. It wasn't a question. Arya reached for my hand. I pulled away. Logan, please just hear me out. How long have you been thinking about this? Does it matter? Yeah, Arya, it matters. She sighed. A few months. Luna's been helping me research. Our daughter's been helping you research how to sleep with other people? Dad, don't be crude, Luna said. This is about emotional growth, about exploring aspects of yourself that get suppressed in traditional marriage. Traditional marriage? Like it was something shameful, something outdated. I need air. I stood up, knocking my coffee over. The brown liquid spread across the table, seeping into the wood grain Arya had so carefully preserved all those years ago. Nobody moved to clean it up. For the next month, it was a full-court press. Arya left books on my nightstand. The Ethical Opening Up, More Than Two. She started going to yoga with Luna every Tuesday and Thursday, coming home, talking about chakras and energy and liberation. The instructor, Marcus, he says we store trauma in our hips, she told me one night, stretching on our bedroom floor in new Lululemon gear. That's why opening them up feels so emotional. Marcus. I wondered if he was the reason for all this. Maybe you should come with us, she suggested. I get enough of a workout at the site. That's not the same thing, Logan. This is about spiritual growth. Spiritual growth, personal growth, emotional growth. Everything was about growth except our marriage, which was apparently dying on the vine. Luna came over more often, always with articles printed from Psychology Today or some academic journal. She'd leave them casually on the counter, like breadcrumbs leading somewhere I didn't want to go. Did you know that in some cultures, it's perfectly normal for people to have multiple partners? She said one evening, helping me load the dishwasher. Did you know that in some cultures they also eat bugs? I shot back, Dad, I'm trying to help. Help with what exactly? She wouldn't meet my eyes. Mom's unhappy. She has been for a long time. And this is the solution. She needs to date other people. Maybe. Maybe she just needed to know she could. But I knew Arya. After 23 years, you know someone. This wasn't about the theoretical possibility. This was about something or someone specific. The ultimatum came during the Patriots game. Fourth quarter, we were down by 3, and Tom Brady was long gone to Tampa. Everything was changing, falling apart. Logan, I can't do this anymore. I didn't take my eyes off the screen. Do what? This, us, the way we are now. She had my attention. I've already talked to a lawyer, she continued. If we divorce, we'll have to sell the house, split everything. It'll be ugly, expensive. You're threatening me. I'm being honest, finally. I need this, Logan. I need to feel alive again. And I'm killing you? Is that what you're saying? Luna appeared in the doorway. Of course she did. This was choreographed, rehearsed. They'd probably practiced in the car. Dad, Mom's not saying you're the problem. She's saying the situation is the problem. The situation being our marriage? The situation being monogamy, Luna corrected. Look, you could benefit from this too. When's the last time you felt excited, like really excited? I wanted to tell her that excitement wasn't everything. That sometimes love was quiet. Sometimes it was just showing up day after day, building something together. But looking at them, my wife and daughter united against me, I knew I'd already lost. What exactly are you proposing? The words tasted like ash. Arya brightened immediately. We set rules, boundaries, complete transparency. No one we know, protection always, and we check in with each other regularly. She'd thought this through. Hell, she probably had a spreadsheet. This is insane. This is evolution, Luna said. Dad, relationships don't have to look like they did in 1999, the year Arya and I met. She was wearing a Red Sox cap, drinking a Sam Adams, yelling at the umpire. I fell in love with her before the 7th inning stretch. Now she was looking at me like I was a stranger, or worse, an obstacle. Fine, I heard myself say. We'll try it. The lie came so easily, I almost believed it myself. 3 weeks. That's how long it took for the pattern to emerge. Tuesday nights, book club with the girls from work. Thursday nights, yoga with Luna, then drinks after. Except Luna was usually home by 10, posting Instagram stories from her apartment in Austin. And the book club girls, I ran into 2 of them at Stop and Shop one Tuesday. They seemed surprised when I mentioned Arya couldn't make it to their meeting. Oh, we moved book club to Sundays, Jennifer said, then caught herself. I mean, some of us still meet on Tuesdays informally. Right. I started keeping a notebook in my truck. Just observations, nothing crazy. Tuesday, October 3rd. Aria left at 6:30, said she'd be home by 11 o'clock. Came home at 11:47. Smelled like cologne that wasn't mine. Wednesday, October 4th. Found a receipt in her purse for Morton's Steakhouse. 2 dinners, bottle of wine. She told me she'd grabbed a salad at Sweet Green. The credit card statements were interesting too. Charges at restaurants I'd never heard of. Always for 2. A hotel charge from August at the Marriott Long Wharf. We'd been at her parents' that weekend. She'd said she had to work. "How's the dating going?" she asked me one morning, putting on mascara in the bathroom mirror. "Haven't really started." "You should. It's liberating." She smiled at herself in the mirror. Not at me, at herself. "Maybe I will." "Good. There's this app called Field. It's specifically for people in open relationships." Already had it downloaded on her phone. Showed me how it worked. Her profile was polished. Professional photos I didn't remember her taking. In one, she was wearing a dress I'd never seen. "When did you take these?" "Luna helped me last week." Our daughter photographing her mother for a dating app. What kind of family had we become? The workplace incident happened on a Thursday. I'd gotten off early. Rain had shut down the site, and I thought I'd surprise Aria with lunch. The boutique was one of those high-end places on Newbury Street, where a scarf costs more than I make in a day. Oh, Logan. The receptionist, Bethany, looked like she'd seen a ghost. "Aria's not. She's in a meeting." "That's okay. I'll wait." "No. Too quick, too loud. It could be a while. She's with Mr. Thompson." Reginal meeting. Very important. Mr. Thompson. Carter Thompson. I'd met him at last year's Christmas party. Smooth talker, expensive suit. The kind of guy who got manicures. "His car's not in the lot," I observed. They took an Uber to the meeting at the other location. She was a terrible liar. Sweet kid, maybe 22, probably made minimum wage to lie for people who didn't deserve it. "Bethany, where's my wife?" Her face crumbled. "They left about an hour ago together. I'm supposed to say she's in a meeting if anyone calls." Anyone? Meaning me. I sat in my truck for 20 minutes, watching the rain streak down the windshield. Then I drove to Carter Thompson's apartment building in the South End. I knew where he lived because Aria had mentioned it once. Carter has such a nice place, exposed brick and everything. His Audi was in the reserved spot. So was Aria's Honda. I took a photo, added it to the notebook. The phone bill was the smoking gun. We shared a family plan, had for years. Aria never thought to hide it because she never thought I'd look. One number appeared hundreds of times. Texts starting at 6 a.m., ending past midnight. I ran a reverse lookup, paid the $19.99 for the full report. Carter Thompson. The texts went back 8 months. 8 months before the books, before the yoga, before the family meeting where my daughter helped convince me to open our marriage. I scrolled through our shared Google photos, cross-referencing dates. There, a girls' weekend in Providence from June. Aria with her college friends, or so she'd said. But the metadata on the photos showed they were taken in Newport. And in one, barely visible in the background, a man's watch on the nightstand, a Rolex. I zoomed in until the pixels blurred. The same watch Carter had been wearing at the Christmas party. My hands were shaking. 23 years, and it all came down to metadata and cell phone records. "Dad?" Luna stood in the doorway of my home office. I hadn't heard her come in. "Your mother here?" "No, she's at yoga." "Right, yoga." I turned the laptop toward her. "Interesting thing about technology, Luna? It keeps records of everything." She saw the phone bill on the screen. The color drained from her face. "Dad, I can explain." "You knew!" "Not a question. It's not what you think." "How long have you known?" She collapsed into the chair across from me. My daughter, my little girl, who I'd taught to ride a bike in Franklin Park, who'd cried on my shoulder when her high school boyfriend dumped her before prom. "A year," she whispered. "A year! You've known for a year that your mother was having an affair, and you helped her convince me to open our marriage, to cover it up? It wasn't supposed to be like this. Mom said if you agreed to open the marriage, then technically she wouldn't have been cheating. It would be retroactively okay." Retroactively okay. Like you could rewrite history with therapy speak and good intentions. "She played you, Dad. But she played me too." She said she was going to tell you about Carter, but she needed time to figure out how. The open marriage was supposed to be temporary, just until what? Until she moved in with him. Luna's silence was answer enough. Get out, I said. Dad, please get out. She ran, sobbing. Good. Let her cry to her mother. Let them comfort each other with their lies and their yoga and their goddamn ethical non-monogamy. The next day, Amelia called. I barely knew her. Luna's friend from college. The quiet one who worked at that Italian place in the North End. Not Nana's, the other one. She'd been to our house a few times. Always polite, always helpful with dishes. Mr. Martinez, it's Amelia White, Luna's friend. What do you want? To apologize and to help if you'll let me. We met at a Dunkin' on the waterfront. She looked nervous, spinning her coffee cup in circles. I told Luna she was wrong, she started. What they did to you, it's not right. You knew too. Not everything, not at first. Luna told me about the open marriage thing a few weeks ago. She was bragging about how clever her mom was, how you'd never figure it out. Clever. I told her it was cruel. We had a huge fight. That's why I'm here. She pulled out her phone, showed me texts from Luna, screenshots of conversations between Luna and Arya, planning the whole thing, discussing how to manipulate me, debating whether to use the word polyamory or open marriage. Which would I be more likely to accept? There's more, Amelia said quietly. Carter's married. The coffee turned to acid in my stomach. His wife, Patricia, she has no idea. Luna thinks it's funny. She calls you and Patricia the mushrooms, kept in the dark and fed. My own daughter. Why are you telling me this? Amelia met my eyes for the first time. Brown eyes, honest eyes. Because you're a good man, Mr. Martinez. You didn't deserve this, and because, no, she hesitated, because I've watched you for 2 years being a good father, a good husband, and they're throwing it away for what? For some guy who won't even leave his wife. You've watched me? She blushed. Not in a creepy way. Just, you're always there for Luna, even when she doesn't deserve it. You helped me move that time, remember? Didn't even know me, really, but Luna asked, and you showed up with your truck. I remembered. A rainy Saturday in April. Amelia's ex had kicked her out, and Luna had volunteered my services. We'd moved her entire life in 3 hours, and she'd tried to pay me. I'd refused. You need to protect yourself, she said. Legally, financially. They're planning things, Mr. Martinez. Bad things. Like what? Arya's been moving money. Luna helped her set up accounts you don't know about, and she paused. They've discussed claiming you were abusive if you don't agree to their terms in the divorce. The world tilted. I've never laid a hand on... I know. God, I know. That's why I'm here. You need a lawyer. A good one. You need to document everything, and you need to do it now, before they know that you know. She slid a business card across the table. Ezekiel Harris, attorney at law. He's the best. My cousin used him. Took her cheating ex for everything. This is really happening. Yeah, she said softly. It is. I'm sorry, Mr. Martinez. I'm so sorry. Ezekiel Harris looked like a linebacker who'd gone to Harvard. 6'4", shoulders that barely fit through doorways, and a Boston accent thick enough to spread on toast. Let me get this straight, he said, leaning back in his leather chair. Your wife's been having an affair for 8 months, convinced you to open the marriage, to cover it up, and your daughter helped her. That's the short version. Jesus! Mary and Joseph. He pulled out a yellow legal pad. Okay, Mr. Martinez, Logan. Logan, here's what we're going to do. Massachusetts is an equitable distribution state, but we can file for fault-based divorce, adultery. That changes everything. What about the open marriage agreement? He laughed, but it wasn't funny. What agreement? You got anything in writing? No. Then it's, he said, she said, but these... He tapped the evidence I'd brought. These are gold. 8 months of texts before the supposed agreement. That's premeditated deception, maybe even fraud. Fraud? She's been moving money, right? Setting up accounts. That's dissipation of marital assets. Judge will love that. He wrote something down. What's your house worth? Maybe $700,000. We bought it for $300,000. When? 1998. Before we were married. Ezekiel smiled like a shark. Whose name's on the deed? Mine, but no buts. Premarital asset. You keep it. He kept writing. What about your business? I'm a site supervisor, not an owner, but you got a pension, 401k? Yeah. We're going to protect all of it. First thing, open new bank accounts today. Move your direct deposit. Document every penny she's taken. He looked up. You said the girlfriend, Luna's friend Amelia, right? She said they're planning something. Abuse allegations if I don't cooperate? Classic. He picked up his phone. Marie, call Tommy Kowalski. Tell him I need surveillance on... He looked at me. Aria Martinez and Carter Thompson. You got Thompson's address? I did. I'd driven by it enough times. Tommy's the best PI in Boston, former cop. He'll get us everything. He hung up. Now, here's the hard part. You gotta play dumb. Keep going to work. Keep being the husband. Don't let on that you know. Can you do that? For how long? Long as it takes. Few weeks, maybe a month. We need more evidence. Need to catch them planning this abuse allegation. Tommy will handle that. He stood up, offered his hand. Logan, I'm gonna tell you something. In 20 years of practice, I've seen some cold ones. But using your own kid to cover an affair, that's a new low. She's still my daughter. Yeah, well, your daughter made her choice. Now you gotta make yours. Tommy Kowalski looked exactly like you'd expect a Boston PI to look. Worn Red Sox cap, 3-day stubble, coffee stain on his Patriot sweatshirt. Your wife's sloppy, he said, sliding a manila envelope across the booth at Kelly's Roast Beef. Tuesday, Thursday, every week like clockwork. Same hotel, same room. The photos spilled out. Aria and Carter kissing in the lobby, his hand on her ass as they waited for the elevator. That one's from August 20th. Our anniversary was September 1st. There's more. Thompson's wife, Patricia. Nice lady. Kindergarten teacher in Brooklyn. No idea her husband's banging your wife. Don't. I started. What? Call it what it is. Tommy took a bite of his roast beef sandwich. Listen, I get it. This is your life falling apart. But you gotta get angry, Logan. You gotta want to win. I just want it over. Nah. He pointed a thick finger at me. You want justice? There's a difference. He pulled out his phone, hit play. Arya's voice, tiny but clear. Logan's an idiot. He actually thinks I'm considering dating other people. Like I'd waste my time when I have you. Carter's laugh. What about when we move in together? After the divorce is final, I'll get the house. At least half his pension. You sure that'll work? Luna's gonna back me up. Say she witnessed it. Emotional abuse, controlling behavior. It's perfect. I ran to the bathroom, threw up my lunch. When I came back, Tommy had wrapped up my sandwich for later. You're going to need your strength. How do I listen to that and go home tonight? Pretend everything's normal. You think about the end game. Every time she smiles at you, every lie she tells, you remember you're going to win. She's going to lose everything. Amelia became my lifeline. We'd meet once a week at different coffee shops, always careful. She'd update me on what Luna was saying, what they were planning. They're getting cockier, she said one afternoon at a pizza place in Cambridge. Luna thinks you're completely clueless. Good. How are you holding up? Really? Nobody had asked me that, not really asked. I don't sleep, can't eat. 23 years, Amelia. How do you just throw that away? You don't. She did. She reached across the table, touched my hand briefly. You're going to get through this. How do you know? Because you're stronger than they think, and because... She pulled her hand back. Because you have people who actually care about you. Not many, maybe, but quality over quantity, right? Why do you care? You barely know me. She was quiet for a moment. You remember when you helped me move? My ex had just told me I was worthless, that nobody would ever want someone like me. Used goods, he called me. Yeah, but I believed him. Then you showed up with your truck and your tools, and you just helped. No judgment, no questions. You treated me like I mattered. You do matter. See that right there? That's why you're going to be okay, Mr. Martinez. Because even with everything they're doing to you, you can still say that and mean it. Wyatt Davis had been my friend since high school. We'd worked construction together before I moved up to supervisor. He still drove trucks, still lived in Southie, still drank Budweiser, and thought craft beer was for hipsters. You need to get your stuff out, he said, standing in my garage. Important papers, valuables, before she knows. You know, I can't just empty the house. Not empty, strategic removal. He opened a beer from the fridge I kept out there. My storage unit's got space. We do it piece by piece. She won't notice if you're smart about it. We started that night. Photo albums from before our marriage. My father's watch. The signed Jastrzemski ball from my childhood. Things that were mine. Only mine. You talked to Luna? No, she's your kid, Logan. She chose her side. Kids make mistakes. She's 24, old enough to know better. He helped me load boxes into his truck. My cousin Paulie, he's a forensic accountant. Want me to call him? Ezekiel's handling the finances. Yeah, but Paulie's creative. He finds things lawyers miss. 3 days later, Paulie found $12,000 missing from our joint savings. Transfers to an account I didn't know existed. Small enough amounts that I hadn't noticed. $500 here, $300 there. Dating back 10 months. She's been planning this longer than you think, Paulie said. The trap was Amelia's idea. Tell Arya you got a bonus. She suggested a big one, cash. See what she does. So I did, came home with an envelope. Made sure Arya saw me put it in the safe. 20 grand, I said casually. Site came in under budget. Owner was feeling generous. Her eyes lit up. That's amazing. We should celebrate. We? I was thinking we could take a trip, like old times. Or, she said carefully, we could each take separate trips, explore our independence. Sure, whatever you want. That night, she called Carter from the bathroom, whispering about the money, how we could use it for their place, how I was finally being useful. Tommy got it all on tape. But the best part? There was no bonus. The envelope was full of cut paper. And when Arya checked the safe the next morning while I pretended to sleep, I heard her curse under her breath. She'd shown her hand. Now I just had to wait for the right moment to show mine. Patricia Thompson answered the door in yoga pants and a kindergarten teacher's smile. The kind of woman who probably had inspirational quotes on her coffee mugs. Can I help you? Mrs. Thompson, I'm Logan Martinez. The name didn't register. I'm Arya Martinez's husband. Still nothing. Your husband's having an affair with my wife. The smile crumbled like old paint. I handed her the envelope. Just a few photos. Nothing too explicit, enough to prove it without being cruel. Tommy had wanted me to give her everything, but she didn't deserve that. Nobody deserved that. This can't be. I'm sorry, I thought you should know. She stared at a photo of Carter and Arya entering the Marriott. He said he was working late, regional meetings. Yeah, that's what my wife said too. How long? 8 months, maybe more. She sank onto her porch steps. I sat beside her, two strangers united by betrayal, watching the October leaves fall on a quiet Brookline street. I knew, she whispered. I didn't know, but I knew, you know? Yeah, I know. What are you gonna do? Divorce. You. I have to think. We have a prenup. Carter insisted. She laughed bitterly. He said it was to protect me. You should talk to a lawyer. Document everything. Check your finances. You sound like you've done this before. First time, hopefully the last. She stood up, straightened her shoulders. I'm going to his office now. While he's there, while everyone can see, you sure? 20 years of marriage, and he's screwing around with some retail worker. I didn't correct her. Didn't mention that Arya managed the boutique. It didn't matter. Patricia Thompson walked into her house and came back with car keys and rage. Thank you, she said, for telling me, for being decent. 2 hours later, my phone exploded. Arya calling, texting, calling again. What did you do? She screamed when I finally answered. What do you mean? Carter's wife just showed up at his office with photos. She's lost her mind, Logan. She's destroying everything. Photos of what? Silence. Arya, photos of what? I have to go. Arya, we'll talk when I get home. But she didn't come home. Not that night. The birthday dinner was scheduled for the following week. Arya's 43rd. I'd made reservations at the Capitol Grill, invited everyone. Her parents drove in from Worcester, her sister Grace from Springfield, my family, friends from the neighborhood. 28 people total. Arya walked in late, wearing the red dress I'd bought her in better times. She looked tired, older. The past week had taken its toll. Carter's marriage imploding, his job hanging by a thread after Patricia's very public scene. Sorry, everyone, she said, sliding into her seat. Work was crazy. Work, right? Her mother, Rose, reached over and squeezed her hand. You work too hard, Mia. That's what I keep telling her, I said, standing with my wine glass. But that's Arya, always giving her all to everything she does. A few chuckles. Luna watched me nervously from across the table. 43 years, I continued. Seems like yesterday she was that girl in the Red Sox cap yelling at the umpire. That was a bad call, Arya protested, relaxing slightly. It was just like it was a bad call when I thought I could ever be enough for you. The laughter died. See, everyone, Arya's been going through some changes. Growth, she calls it. Personal evolution. And I support that. I really do. That's why we decided to open our marriage. Gasps. Rose's hand flew to her mouth. Mom, it's not, Arya started. It's exactly what it sounds like, Rose. Your daughter decided one man wasn't enough. She needed more. Specifically, she needed Carter Thompson. Logan, stop. Oh, should I not mention Carter? Your boyfriend of 8 months. Or is it 9 now? I lose track. Arya's father, Roberto, stood up. Old school Italian, worked his whole life in a factory. What the hell is going on here? Your daughter's been having an affair, Rob. But don't worry, she got me to agree to an open marriage 3 weeks ago, so retroactively, it's all fine. Ethical non-monogamy, Luna calls it. Right, sweetheart? Luna looked like she wanted to disappear. You knew about this? Rose turned on her granddaughter. You knew your mother was... Grandma, it's complicated. It's not complicated, I said. It's simple. Arya wanted to have her cake and eat it too. Keep the house, the financial security, the image of a happy marriage while screwing her boss. And our daughter helped her do it. You're drunk, Arya hissed. Stone cold sober, unlike you last Thursday when you came home from your book club smelling like Carter's cologne. What's it called? Guilty. It's Gucci guilty. And you're being... She stopped, realized what she'd just admitted. I want to leave, Grace said quietly. Not yet, I said. I haven't given Arya her present. I pulled out my phone, connected it to the restaurant speaker system. I'd arranged it with the manager earlier. What are you doing? Arya's face was white. Sharing? You're big on sharing now, right? I hit play. Her voice filled the restaurant. Logan's an idiot. He actually thinks I'm considering dating other people. Like, I'd waste my time when I have you. Turn it off, she whispered. Once the divorce is final, I'll get the house, at least half his pension. Turn it off. I did. The restaurant was silent, except for someone's fork hitting a plate. Happy birthday, honey. Rose stood up, walked over to Arya, and slapped her. The sound echoed. 23 years, Rose said. 23 years that man has been nothing but good to you, and this is how you repay him? Mom, you don't understand. I understand plenty. She turned to me. Logan, I'm sorry. We're so sorry. Roberto was already putting on his coat. We're leaving, Luna. You're coming with us. Grandpa, I'm 24. You're a disappointment is what you are. They left, then Grace, then the cousins, the friends one by one, until it was just me, Arya, and Luna, and Mark, Luna's boyfriend, who'd been silent the whole time. You knew? He asked Luna. You helped her lie to your own father? Mark, it wasn't lying. It was, he said. It was lying. He stood up. My dad cheated on my mom, destroyed our family. And you? He shook his head. We're done. He left too. Luna started crying. This is your fault. You didn't have to do it this way. No, I said, pulling on my coat. This is your mother's fault and yours. You made your choices. Now live with them. I walked out, leaving them with the check. My phone had 37 missed calls by the time I got home. I ignored them all, packed a bag, and drove to Wyatt's place. Jesus, he said, seeing my face. You did it? Yeah. How'd it go? About as bad as you'd expect. He handed me a beer. Couch is yours as long as you need it. Thanks. Luna. She made her choice. She's still your daughter. No, I said, and she's Arya's daughter. Has been for a while now. I just didn't want to see it. We drank in silence, watching the Bruins lose to the Rangers. Fitting end to a perfect day. Around midnight, my phone buzzed. Not Arya or Luna. Amelia. Heard what happened, she texted. Are you okay? Me. Define okay. Amelia. Alive, breathing, not in jail. Me. Then yeah, I'm okay. Amelia. I'm sorry it had to happen that way. Me. It had to happen somehow. Amelia. Still, You need anything? I looked around Wyatt's bachelor pad, pizza boxes, beer cans, a TV that had seen better days. Me. I'm good. Thanks for everything, Amelia. Really, Amelia. That's what friends are for. Friends? Is that what we were? This 21-year-old waitress who'd shown me more loyalty in 3 weeks than my family had in years. My phone buzzed again. Arya, you've destroyed everything. I hope you're happy. I deleted it without responding. Then I deleted her number, Luna's, too. Tomorrow I'd go to Ezekiel's office. We'd file the papers, start the process of dismantling 23 years. But tonight I sat in my friend's living room drinking cheap beer and watching bad hockey. And for the first time in months, maybe years, I could breathe. The perfect facade was finally completely shattered. And honestly, it was about time. Monday morning hit Boston like a hangover. Gray, cold, and unforgiving. I'd been crashing at Wyatt's place for 3 nights, living off takeout and rage when my phone started buzzing at 6 o'clock a.m. Ezekiel, Carter Thompson's office now. Bring popcorn. I mean, not literally bring popcorn, but you get the idea. The boutique where Arya worked, where she used to work, sat on Newbury Street between an overpriced coffee shop and a yoga studio. Of course, there was a yoga studio. When I pulled up, there were already 2 cars I recognized. Patricia Thompson's BMW and a Mercedes that belonged to Richard Blackstone, the regional manager. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, I could see the show had already started. Completely unacceptable behavior that has created a hostile work environment. Patricia's voice carried onto the street. She was standing in the middle of the boutique, waving a manila folder like a weapon. 8 months. 8 months of company time. Company resources used for your affair. Carter stood behind a rack of designer dresses, looking like he'd aged 5 years since Friday. His perfect hair was disheveled, his expensive suit wrinkled. Patricia, please, can we discuss this privately? Privately? Like how you privately screwed that woman in your office? Oh, yes, I have the security footage. Amazing what a good lawyer can subpoena. Richard Blackstone, all 6'3" of him, stepped between them. Mrs. Thompson, I understand you're upset. Upset? Patricia laughed, sharp as broken glass. I'm not upset. I'm litigious. Your company enabled this. HR complaints were filed and ignored. That was news to me. I walked in just as Bethany, the receptionist, was trying to become invisible behind her desk. Logan, Richard spotted me immediately. Thank God. Maybe you can help calm. I'm just here for the show, I said, leaning against the doorframe. Arya chose that moment to arrive. She froze in the entrance, taking in the scene. Patricia, Carter, Richard, me. The color drained from her face. You, Patricia rounded on her, the boutique manager who couldn't manage to keep her legs closed. Excuse me. Arya's shock morphed into indignation. You can't talk to me like I can and I will. Richard's voice cut through the drama like a knife. You destroyed my marriage. 20 years. 20 years? Patricia's voice cracked. And you knew he was married. You both work here. You saw his wedding ring every single day. It's complicated, Arya started. No, it's simple, Richard said. You're fired. Both of you, he continued. Effective immediately. You can't, Carter began. I can and I did, Richard said coldly. Section 5.3 of the Employee Handbook, which you signed, Mr. Thompson. Relationships between management levels that create conflicts of interest or hostile work environments are grounds for immediate termination. This is Logan's fault. Arya spun on me. He's the one who... Who what? I asked. Who caught you cheating? Who exposed your lies? Yeah, guilty as charged. I'll sue, Carter threatened, but his voice wavered. Please do, Richard said coldly. I'd love to explain to a jury how you used company property for your affair, falsified time cards, and created a liability nightmare for the corporation. Bethany, call security. 2 security guards appeared like they'd been waiting in the wings. Honestly, they probably had been. You have 15 minutes to clear your personal items, Richard continued. Anything left will be disposed of. I watched Arya stumble to her office, former office, and start throwing things into a banker's box. Photos of us from happier times. The stupid motivational posters she loved, the coffee mug Luna had made her in 3rd grade that said, World's Best Mom. What a joke. Patricia wasn't done. She followed Carter to his office, documenting everything with her phone. "For my lawyer," she announced loudly. "Asset discovery is so much easier when you know where they work." Worked. Past tense. Carter tried to whisper something to Arya as security escorted them out, but she shoved past him. Reality was setting in. No job meant no income. No income meant no mortgage payments. No mortgage payments meant, well, Logan. Richard approached me after they'd gone. "Well, yeah, I'm sorry about all this." "Not your fault. Still, Arya was a good manager before this, and you've always been straight with us. My brother runs Blackstone Construction. They're looking for experienced supervisors. Interested?" I took his card. Networking through my wife's public humiliation. There was probably a country song in there somewhere. Tuesday afternoon, Ezekiel's office. He was grinning like a kid on Christmas morning. "She hired Judith Malone," he said, sliding a document across his desk. "Is that bad for her?" "Catastrophic. Judith's good at one thing, defending guilty people by making them look sympathetic. Problem is, your wife ain't sympathetic." The divorce filing was thick as a phone book. Ezekiel had attached everything. 8 months of evidence, the recordings, the financial fraud. It read like a crime novel, a bad one, where the criminal was too stupid to cover their tracks. "She's claiming emotional abandonment," he continued. "Says you were distant, ineffective, pushed her into another man's arms." "That's crap." "Yeah, but here's the beautiful thing." He pulled out another file. "Remember those recordings Tommy got? Well, there's one where she specifically says, and I quote, 'Logan's actually been super attentive lately. It's annoying. I have to pretend to care.'" I remembered that night. I'd brought her flowers. She'd smiled, kissed my cheek, put them in water, then called Carter an hour later to laugh about it. "Judge Kathleen O'Brien is handling the case," Ezekiel said. "Irish Catholic, married 38 years, absolutely hates cheaters. We lucked out." "What about Luna? What about her? She helped plan this." "She's complicit. She's also your daughter. You sure you want to burn that bridge?" "Already burned. I just want to document it." He nodded, made a note. "The recording helps. Luna admitting she knew about the affair for a year, helped plan the deception. That's conspiracy to commit fraud. Will she be charged?" "Unlikely, but it'll be in the record. Judge O'Brien will see it." He leaned back. "Now, about the house. Arya's lawyer's claiming it's marital property." "But I bought it before." "I know, but here's where it gets interesting. You refinanced in 2010, right?" "Yeah, for a better rate. And Arya co-signed." My stomach dropped. "Yeah, that complicates things, but..." He held up a finger. "You used your construction company as collateral. The company you own solely premarital asset. We can argue the house is actually a business asset." "Is that legal?" "Legal, yeah. Ethical? Who cares? She was planning to claim abuse. Logan, gloves are off." Wednesday brought the recording revelation. I hadn't even known Tommy had gotten this one. We were in Ezekiel's conference room. Me, him, and surprisingly, Patricia Thompson. She'd asked to meet to coordinate our cases. "Play it again," she said, her jaw tight. Tommy hit play on his laptop. The audio was crystal clear. "Arya, once the divorce goes through, we can finally be together properly." Carter. "What about Logan?" Arya. "What about him? He's pathetic. 23 years and he never suspected anything." Carter. "The open marriage thing was genius." Arya. "That was Luna's idea, actually. She said if we could get him to agree to it, then technically I wouldn't be cheating. Retroactive consent or something." Carter. "Your daughter's kind of evil." Arya. "I like it." Carter. "Anyway, once I claim emotional abuse, maybe some financial control, I'll get the house, alimony, everything." Arya. "Carter, you sure Luna will back me up?" Carter. "She hates him, always has. Too many years of him working late, missing dance recitals." Arya. "She'll say whatever I need." I had to leave the room, ran to the bathroom, dry heaved into the toilet. I'd missed exactly 2 of Luna's recitals. 2 because of emergency sight problems. And I'd made them both up with special daddy-daughter days. When I came back, Patricia was crying. 20 years, she whispered. "How did I not see it?" "Because you trusted him," I said. "Same as me with Arya." "The recording's admissible," Ezekiel announced. "Massachusetts is a single-party consent state. Tommy was acting as your agent, Logan. It's legal." "I want a copy," Patricia said. "For my lawyer." "Already sent," he confirmed. She stood to leave, then paused. "Logan, thank you for telling me. You didn't have to." "Yeah, I did." After she left, Ezekiel pulled up something on his laptop. Speaking of recordings, look what just hit social media. The video was shaky, obviously filmed on a phone. The location was unmistakable. Thinking Cup on Newbury Street, right near the boutique. The timestamp showed 2:47 p.m. Wednesday, 3 hours ago. Amelia's voice, clear and angry. You're a backstabbing witch. He paid for your college, Luna. Every penny. Worked overtime to cover your tuition so you wouldn't have loans. You don't understand. Luna's voice, defensive. I understand perfectly. You helped your mother screw him over because, what? Dad worked too much? Dad wasn't perfect? Grow up. The camera caught other patrons turning to watch. Boston might be a big city, but everyone loves good drama. My mother needed me. Your mother is a cheater and a liar, and you're just as bad. Actually, you're worse. At least she didn't pretend to love him while stabbing him in the back. How dare you? How dare I? How dare you? You want to know something? Amelia's voice was cold. I've watched your father for 2 years. Every family dinner, every time you called needing something, he dropped everything. Everything, and you helped destroy him for what? So your mom could bang her boss? Someone in the background said, Oh, snap. Luna threw her coffee. It missed Amelia, hit the window. The barista started yelling. The video cut off, but the damage was done. The video had 3,000 views and climbing. The comments were brutal. Daughter from hell. Poor dad betrayed by everyone. Luna Rodriguez is trash. Pass it on. Anyone know the dad? I want to buy him a beer. Ezekiel closed the laptop. Your daughter just became very unsympathetic to any judge. Good. You sure you're okay with this? It's your kid. She made her choice. But honestly, watching my daughter get publicly shamed hurt like hell. Some part of me, the part that taught her to ride a bike and checked for monsters under her bed, wanted to protect her. That part was losing to the part that remembered her helping plan my destruction. Thursday morning, the neighborhood knew everything. South Boston's a tight community, Irish, Italian, working-class families who've been here for generations. They have opinions about adultery. Mrs. O'Sullivan from next door was waiting when I stopped by the house to grab more clothes. Logan Martinez, you poor man, come here. Before I could protest, she'd wrap me in a hug that smelled like Irish Spring and cigarettes. That woman never deserved you, she declared, loud enough for the whole street to hear. And using your own daughter against you, Mother of God. Thanks, Mrs. O'Sullivan. My nephew's a contractor in Southie. He needs good supervisors. You call him. She pressed a business card into my hand. And you need a home-cooked meal. Sunday, 600. No arguments. Inside, the house felt like a mausoleum. Our life preserved in amber photos on the walls, Arya's coffee cup in the sink, Luna's childhood artwork on the fridge. I grabbed what I needed and got out fast. At Shaw's supermarket, buying frozen dinners because Wyatt's cooking would kill me faster than the divorce. I ran into 3 people from church. Each one had heard, each one had opinions. Never liked her, Mr. Antonelli confided by the frozen foods. Too uppity for a retail worker. My daughter knows Luna, Mrs. Chen added near the produce. Says she's been bragging about this for months about how smart her mother was. By the time I escaped, I had 6 dinner invitations and 4 job offers. South Boston takes care of its own, and apparently I was one of them. Arya, after 23 years, was not. Amelia called that night. Did you see the video? She asked immediately. Yeah. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have made a scene. It probably makes things worse for you. Actually, it helps. Shows Luna's involvement. Ezekiel says it's perfect for court. Still, I was so angry. She was sitting there with her friends laughing about something, and I lost it. Where are you now? Home? Well, my apartment. Luna's been calling 47 times. Don't answer. Wasn't planning to. A pause. How are you doing? Really? It was the really that got me. Everyone asked how I was doing. Only Amelia seemed to actually want to know. I'm surviving. House feels like a tomb. Can't sleep at Wyatt's. It's because he snores like a chainsaw. Found out my wife planned to destroy me with my daughter's help, so, living the dream. She laughed, soft and sympathetic. Want some good news? Desperately. Carter's wife, Patricia, she hired a forensic accountant. Turns out Carter's been embezzling from the company for 2 years. Richard Blackstone is pressing charges. Seriously? Seriously. Arya hitched her wagon to a criminal, a married criminal who's about to be very poor and possibly imprisoned. For the first time in weeks, I genuinely smiled. Logan. Amelia's voice got quiet. I want you to know what they did doesn't define you. You're a good man. Don't let them make you forget that. The termination letter arrived on a Friday. Certified mail. Signature required. Arya had been trying to avoid it, but process servers are persistent. I know because Bethany texted me. She'd felt guilty about covering for Arya all those months. Young kid, first job, pressured by her boss. I didn't blame her. Bethany, she came to get her last paycheck. Security wouldn't let her in the building. She had a complete meltdown in the lobby. The regional manager had gone scorched earth. Not only were Arya and Carter fired, but their names were flagged in the retail system. They'd never work for any affiliated company again. In Boston's interconnected retail scene, that meant they were effectively blacklisted. Carter's situation was worse. Patricia had hired Sharon Winters, the divorce attorney who'd famously taken a hedge fund manager, for $90 million. She'd frozen their accounts within hours of the confrontation. Carter couldn't access his own money. He's been calling Arya nonstop, Amelia reported over coffee at our usual spot at Duncan and Quincy, where nobody knew us. Luna told her roommate that Arya's freaking out because Carter wants her to pay for a lawyer. With what money exactly? She already spent her savings on that apartment deposit. Right, the apartment. The love nest she and Carter had put a deposit on, planning their future with my money. Except now neither of them has jobs, and the landlord isn't returning the deposit. How do you know all this? Amelia stirred her coffee, not meeting my eyes. Luna's roommate, Jessica, she's disgusted by the whole thing, feeding me information because she thinks Luna needs consequences. Smart girl. Yeah, well, living with Luna has become complicated. Apparently she cries all night, every night. Mark won't return her calls. She got dropped from 2 group projects at school because nobody wants to work with her. Part of me felt satisfaction. The other part, the father part, ached. She did it to her, Amelia said, reading my expression. I know, doesn't make it hurt less. Monday brought the lawsuit. I was at the construction site reviewing blueprints with my crew when Ezekiel called. You're going to love this, he said without preamble. Carter Thompson is suing Arya for alienation of affection. I had to sit down on a stack of lumber. He's what? Claims she pursued him, seduced him, destroyed his marriage. He wants damages. But he's the one who... I know, but his lawyer's arguing that Arya, as his superior in the company hierarchy, abused her position. Sexual harassment, basically. That's insane. That's desperate. His wife's taking him for everything. He needs someone to blame, and Arya is the convenient target. I thought about it for a moment. Should I be happy about this? Ecstatic. They're turning on each other. Makes our job easier. Sure enough, by Wednesday, Arya had retaliated. She filed a complaint with the labor board claiming Carter had coerced her into the relationship. The accusations flew back and forth like a tennis match in hell. Tommy Kowalski had a field day with his surveillance. Look at this, he said, showing me photos on his tablet. Tuesday, she meets with her lawyer. Wednesday, she's screaming at Carter in the parking lot of a McDonald's. Thursday, she's at the bank trying to open a new account. Gets denied because her credit's shot. How's her credit shot already? Because she listed Carter as a reference on that apartment application. When he got flagged for embezzlement, it triggered a credit review. Her score dropped 100 points overnight. The shot in freefall should have felt better than it did. Luna's breakdown happened publicly because, of course, it did. She'd been trying to maintain normalcy, still attending her graduate classes at Boston College, but the video from the coffee shop had gone properly viral. Someone had added captions, turned it into a TikTok. When your friend calls out your toxic behavior, had 2.3 million views. I heard about the incident from 3 different people before I saw it myself. Campus security footage leaked by someone and posted to Reddit. Luna standing in the middle of the quad screaming at her phone. You ruined everything. Everything. Students gathering, recording, because that's what people do now. 23 years. He gave you 23 years and you threw it away for what? For what? She was calling Arya, apparently her mother, who'd stopped taking her calls because Luna had become a liability. I lost everything because of you. My boyfriend, my friends, my father. That's when she saw the cameras. Saw the circle of students recording her mental breakdown. She ran, but the damage was done. Boston Breakdown was trending within hours. Boston College has an honor code. It includes a clause about behavior that brings disrepute to the institution. Luna was called before the disciplinary board. Amelia heard about it from Jessica. She might lose her scholarship, Amelia reported. The board's reviewing whether her involvement in the fraud constitutes an honor violation. Jesus. Yeah. She's hired a lawyer with money she doesn't have. Arya can't help because she's broke. It's a mess. That night, Luna left me a voicemail. First contact in 2 weeks. Dad, I know you hate me. I know I deserve it, but I need help, please. I'll do anything. I'll testify against Mom. I'll tell the truth. Just please. I've lost everything. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I listened to it 3 times. Then I deleted it. Wyatt thought I was being too harsh. She's still your kid. She's 24 years old. She made adult choices. She gets adult consequences. When you were 24, you knocked up Arya and had to get married. That was different, I said. My mistake didn't involve destroying anyone's life. No, it just created Luna. That stung because it was true. The forensic accountant, Wyatt's cousin Polly, had found more than we expected. Your wife's been busy, he said, spreading papers across Wyatt's kitchen table. That $12,000 I found, tip of the iceberg. How much? Over the past 18 months, she's moved about $47,000. Small amounts, different methods, cashbacks at grocery stores, selling stuff on Facebook Marketplace that you probably didn't know was gone, skimming from the joint account. I thought about all the times she'd gone shopping, all the packages that arrived, the constant redecorating. Except the house hadn't changed much because she wasn't buying stuff for us. She was funding their affair, Polly continued. Hotels, dinners, trips. That weekend in Newport, $800 at the spa, that work conference in New York. She took Carter. Your money paid for it all. Can we prove it? Every penny. I've got receipts, credit card records, even found the Venmo transactions. She thought she was hiding. Venmo? Yeah, to Carter. Little heart emojis and everything real subtle. Ezekiel was practically dancing when I brought him the evidence. This changes everything. This isn't just adultery, it's theft, marital asset fraud. Judge O'Brien's going to lose her mind. In a good way. In a your wife is screwed way. The text messages were the final nail. Tommy had worked his magic, don't ask me how, and recovered deleted texts between Arya and Carter going back 2 years. 2 years. They'd been planning this from the beginning. Carter. How long before we can be together? Arya. Give me time to set things up. Logan's too trusting. I need to be careful. Carter. I love you. Arya. Love you too. Once I get the house and his pension, we'll be free. Carter. What about Luna? Arya. She'll help. She resents him anyway. The worst ones were about me specifically. Arya. He made me dinner tonight. Pathetic. Carter. Still thinks we're happily married. Arya. Feel bad for the guy. Carter. Almost. Arya. Don't. He's had 23 years of my life. That's enough charity. But the ones that really mattered, legally speaking, were about the abuse allegations. Arya, my lawyer says I need evidence of abuse, Carter. Carter. But he's never hit you, Arya. Arya. Emotional abuse, controlling behavior. I'll say he monitored my spending, isolated me from friends. Carter, will that work? Arya. Luna will back me up. We've been rehearsing stories. Rehearsing stories, Ezekiel said. This is conspiracy to commit fraud. Perjury if she'd testified to it. Luna, too. Will they be prosecuted? Depends on the DA, but Judge O'Brien will see this. That's what matters for the divorce. The Red Sox game was Wyatt's idea. You need normal, he said. 3 hours of baseball, beer, and absolutely no mention of lawyers. So there we were, Fenway Park, third baseline, watching the Sox get destroyed by the Yankees. Perfect metaphor for my life. Then I saw them, 5 rows down. Jim and Teresa Hutchins, our neighbors for 15 years. Their son played Little League with Luna. Next to them, Father O'Brien. Not the judge, the priest who'd married us. Logan. Jim spotted me, waved us down. The conversation was inevitable. Heard about Arya, Teresa said carefully. We're so sorry. Thanks. We had no idea, Jim added. She seems so normal. Cheaters usually do. Wyatt interjected, already 3 beers in. Father O'Brien leaned over. Logan, if you need to talk. I'm good, Father. No, you're not. Nobody's good after this, but you will be. You think? He smiled sadly. Seen it before. Good people betrayed by those they trust most. But here's the thing. Their betrayal doesn't diminish your faithfulness. Your honor stands independent of their dishonor. It was exactly what I needed to hear. Then Jim dropped the bomb. Saw Arya yesterday at her parents' house, moving boxes in. She moved back home, looks like. Her dad wasn't happy, heard him yelling from the street. Roberto Rodriguez, traditional Catholic immigrant success story, finding out his daughter was not only a cheater, but a criminal. Yeah, he wouldn't be happy. And Luna? I asked, hating myself for caring. Haven't seen her. Heard she's staying with college friends, couch surfing. My daughter, my little girl, homeless because of choices she helped make. She did it to herself, Wyatt said, reading my face. Doesn't make it hurt less. No, Father O'Brien agreed. Love doesn't stop just because someone betrays you. That's what makes betrayal so painful. The Sox lost 11-3, fitting end to a perfect day. November in Southie comes at you like a slap. Cold, harsh, and impossible to ignore. It'd been 3 weeks since the birthday dinner disaster, and I'd finally done what I should have done years ago. Joined a gym, not some fancy place with yoga studios and juice bars. Wyatt's boxing gym in Southie, where the heavy bags were older than me and the smell of sweat was considered aromatherapy. Keep your guard up, Wyatt barked from outside the ring. You drop those hands, you get hit. I was sparring with Tommy Kowalski's nephew, kid named Sean, who had fists like sledgehammers and approximately zero sympathy for soon-to-be divorcees. You're thinking too much, Sean said, dancing around me. Stop thinking, just move. He was right. For the first time in months, I stopped thinking about Arya, Luna, lawyers, all of it. Just focused on not getting my bell rung by a 22-year-old. Afterward, sitting on the bench, ice on my ribs where Sean had tagged me. Good. Wyatt handed me a protein shake. You look better. I look like I got hit by a truck. Nah, you look alive. First time since this mess started. He was right. I'd lost 15 pounds. Stress diet, wouldn't recommend it, but I'd put back 10 in muscle. The face in the mirror didn't look like a victim anymore. Ezekiel called, Wyatt continued. City contract came through, right. The Seaport Project expansion. My company had put in a bid weeks ago, before everything exploded. Somehow, in all the chaos, we'd won it. That's an 18-month project, Wyatt said. Serious money. Yeah. So, why don't you look happy? Because Luna's not here to celebrate with us. The words just came out. Wyatt nodded, understanding. Despite everything, those little moments, the wins, the successes felt hollow without family to share them with. The therapy thing was Amelia's idea. You need to talk to someone professional, she'd said over our weekly coffee. We'd graduated from Dunkin' to a local cafe, though I still couldn't pronounce half the drinks on the menu. I'm talking to you. I'm 21 and wait tables for a living. You need someone with actual qualifications. So I found myself in Asa Johnson's office in Brookline, sitting on a couch that probably cost more than my truck, talking to a woman who looked like she'd never had a bad day in her life. Tell me why you're here, Logan. My wife cheated on me, my daughter helped her, and everyone says I need therapy. Do you think you need therapy? I think I need a time machine. She smiled. Unfortunately, I don't have one of those. What I can offer is perspective. Tell me about your marriage before all this. So I did. 23 years condensed into an hour. The good times, and there were good times, plenty of them. Luna's birth, building our life together, Sunday dinners and vacation road trips, and that one perfect summer when Luna was 7 and everything felt exactly right. When did it change? Issa asked. I don't know. That's what kills me. I don't know when my wife stopped loving me, when my daughter started resenting me. I was just there working, providing, thinking that was enough. Was it enough for you? What do you mean? Were you happy before you found out about the affair? I had to think about it, really think. No, I haven't been happy for years, just comfortable. Comfortable with being ignored, comfortable with being taken for granted. And now I'm angry, but also free. Is that wrong? There's no wrong in grief, Logan. You're grieving 2 relationships simultaneously. That's incredibly difficult. Luna wants to reconcile. How do you know? She left me another voicemail, and another and another. Have you listened to them? No, why not? Because I struggle for words. Because if I hear her cry, I'll forgive her. And she doesn't deserve forgiveness. Not yet. When will she deserve it? When she's actually sorry for what she did, not just sorry she got caught. Issa nodded. That's very insightful. You're protecting yourself. Is that wrong? It's necessary for now. Amelia had started coming by Wyatt's place twice a week with home-cooked meals. You can't live on pizza and beer, she declared, pushing past us with grocery bags. We're doing fine, Wyatt protested, even as he eagerly grabbed the container of lasagna. You had Captain Crunch for dinner yesterday. I saw the bowl. She'd started small. Lasagna, soup, basic stuff, but by the third week of November, she was teaching me to cook. It's not that hard, she said, guiding my hands as I chopped onions. You built a career on precision and following plans. Cooking's the same thing. Construction doesn't make me cry. That's just the onions. It wasn't just the onions. Standing in Wyatt's cramped kitchen, learning to make marinara sauce from a 21-year-old, I felt more cared for than I had in years. Aria had stopped cooking in 2018, said she was too tired, too busy. We'd lived on takeout and resentment ever since. Why are you doing this? I asked Amelia one night. Doing what? Taking care of me. I'm old enough to be your father. She stopped stirring the sauce, turned to face me. Because nobody took care of you. For years you took care of everyone else, and nobody returned the favor. That's not right. I don't need pity. It's not pity, it's... She paused, choosing words carefully. It's friendship, real friendship. The kind where you show up for each other. That night after she left, Wyatt gave me a look. What? You know what? She's 21. She's also the only person besides me who gave a damn when your world exploded. It's not like that. Not yet. I threw a dish towel at him. But he wasn't entirely wrong. Luna's letter arrived the day before Thanksgiving. Handwritten, which surprised me. Luna hadn't handwritten anything since high school. Dad, I know you won't read this. You've deleted my voicemails, ignored my texts. I deserve that. I deserve worse. I'm writing because I need you to know the truth. Not excuses, not justifications, just truth. Mom started poisoning me against you when I was 16. Little comments about how you cared more about work than family, how you were emotionally unavailable, how she deserved better. I was young and stupid, and I believed her. When she met Carter, she told me you two were basically separated, just staying together for appearances. She said you had agreed to live separate lives. I believed that, too. The open marriage thing was my idea. I thought if you agreed to it, Mom could be happy without destroying the family. I thought I was helping. I was an idiot. I know now that she manipulated me, used my resentment she created to make me her accomplice. But that doesn't excuse what I did. I chose to help her. I chose to betray you. I've lost everything. Mark, my friends, potentially my degree. Good. I deserve it all. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm not asking for anything. I just needed you to know that I finally understand what I did. I destroyed the one parent who actually loved me unconditionally. Mom won't talk to me anymore. Says I'm a liability. Funny how that works. I'm staying with a friend from undergrad, working at Starbucks to pay rent. It's humbling, necessary. I love you, Dad. I know I have no right to say that anymore, but it's true. It was always true, even when I was too stupid to show it. Your daughter, if I can still call myself that. Luna. I read it 4 times, then I put it in a drawer and went to the gym. Sean hit me extra hard that day. I was grateful. The dating app disaster was entirely Wyatt's fault. You need to get back out there, he insisted, downloading Tinder on my phone without permission. I'm 45 and getting divorced. Nobody wants that. You're 45 in shape with a steady job and no criminal record. You're basically Boston's most eligible bachelor. The first date was with a dental hygienist named Karen. She spent the entire dinner talking about her ex-husband's failures. The second was with a teacher who got wine drunk and cried about her biological clock. The third didn't show up. Maybe I'm not ready, I told Amelia over coffee. We'd moved our weekly meetings to Tuesday mornings when she didn't have classes. You think? She was trying not to laugh. The dental hygienist asked if I was willing to get a vasectomy reversal. Now she was laughing. Okay, that's aggressive, even for Boston. Wyatt says I need to lower my standards. Wyatt's standards involve breathing and showing up, so maybe don't take his advice. She stirred her coffee thoughtfully. What are you actually looking for? Honestly, nothing. I just want to be alone for a while. Figure out who I am without Arya? That's healthy. Wyatt says it's pathetic. Wyatt's been single for 6 years and considers Hot Pockets a food group. Fair point. She smiled, and I noticed, not for the first time, that she had a great smile. Natural, unforced. Arya's smiles had been strategic for so long, I'd forgotten what genuine looked like. You want to know what I think? She asked. Always. I think you're going to be fine, better than fine. I think a year from now, you'll look back on this as the best thing that ever happened to you. My wife cheating on me was the best thing? No, getting free was. Finding out who your real friends are was. Learning you're stronger than you thought was. When did you get so wise? Tuesday, there was a sale. I laughed, really laughed for the first time in months. That night, I deleted the dating apps. Wyatt was disgusted. You're wasting your prime revenge dating years. There's no such thing as revenge dating years. There is, and you're in them. You should be out there showing Arya what she lost. She knows what she lost. That's why she's living with her parents and crying into her wine. But I wasn't interested in revenge anymore. I was interested in peace, in quiet mornings without drama, in coming home to silence instead of tension, in maybe, possibly, eventually finding something real. December in Suffolk County Courthouse felt like walking into a refrigerator, cold, sterile, and deeply unpleasant. But there I was, 9 a.m. sharp, wearing my only suit and sitting next to Ezekiel, while Arya walked in looking like she'd aged 10 years in 2 months. Judge Kathleen O'Brien presided. 60-something, silver hair and a tight bun, wearing an expression that could freeze hell over. Ezekiel had been right. She hated cheaters. We're here for Martinez versus Martinez, case 2022 D4847, the clerk announced. Arya's lawyer, Judith Malone, stood up. Even I had to admit she looked impressive. Power suit, perfect posture, the kind of confidence that usually costs $500 an hour. Your Honor, we're requesting a continuance. We've just received additional evidence from the plaintiff that needs review. The evidence that your client committed fraud. Judge O'Brien's voice was dry as sandpaper. I've reviewed it, counselor. Motion denied. First blood to our side. Ezekiel stood. Your Honor, we're prepared to present evidence of adultery, financial fraud, and conspiracy to commit perjury. Objection! Judith jumped up. Conspiracy is a criminal matter not relevant to divorce proceedings. It's relevant to character, Your Honor, Ezekiel countered, and to the equitable distribution of assets. I'll allow it. Proceed. What followed was the systematic destruction of my marriage in legal terms. Ezekiel presented everything. 8 months of text messages, hotel receipts, the recording of Arya planning false abuse allegations, the forensic accounting showing $47,000 in stolen funds. Mrs. Martinez, the judge finally addressed Arya directly, do you deny having an affair with Carter Thompson? No, Your Honor, but do you deny that this affair began 8 months before you requested an open marriage? The timeline is complicated. It's a yes or no question. Arya looked at her lawyer, who nodded slightly. No, I don't deny it. Do you deny conspiring with your daughter to manipulate your husband into agreeing to an open marriage to legitimize your ongoing affair? No. The word hung in the courtroom like a confession at church. Then came Carter's testimony. He'd been subpoenaed as a hostile witness. Showed up looking like he'd slept in his car, which, according to Tommy's intelligence, he had been. State your name for the record. Carter Thompson. Mr. Thompson, what is your relationship to Mrs. Martinez? He squirmed. We were involved, romantically? Yes. For how long? About a year. Ezekiel pounced. A year. The text messages show 2 years of communication. Objection, badgering. Sustained, rephrase. Mr. Thompson, when did your physical relationship with Mrs. Martinez begin? Carter looked at Arya. She was staring at the table. 18 months ago. Before or after her marriage was allegedly opened? Before? How long before? 15 months? Gasps from the gallery. Even I hadn't known it was that long. And did Mrs. Martinez ever tell you she was in an open marriage during those 15 months? No. What did she tell you about her marriage? Carter shifted uncomfortably. That it was dead. That Logan, Mr. Martinez, was emotionally absent, that she was planning to leave. Planning to leave when? After she secured her financial position. Objection. Judith was on her feet. Mr. Thompson is a hostile witness with his own agenda. He's under oath. Judge O'Brien cut her off. Continue, Mr. Thompson. Carter looked miserable. Good. She said she needed to get the house and his pension before filing for divorce. Said she'd earned it after 23 years. And the open marriage was supposed to make her look progressive instead of unfaithful? If Logan agreed to it, then technically she hadn't been cheating. Whose idea was this? Luna's, her daughter. More gasps. More. Luna wasn't in the courtroom as Ezekiel had advised against it, but her presence hung over everything like a ghost. The forensic accounting testimony was brutal. Polly Wyatt's cousin, cleaned up nice in a suit, looking every bit the professional as he walked the court through Arya's financial deception. Over 18 months, Mrs. Martinez systematically diverted $47,898 in total from marital assets. How? Multiple methods. Cash withdrawals disguised as grocery shopping, selling marital property without Mr. Martinez's knowledge, opening credit cards in both names but hiding the statements. What was this money used for? Based on receipts and credit card records, hotels, restaurants, trips, gifts for Mr. Thompson, and a deposit on an apartment. Judge O'Brien looked at Arya. You were stealing from your husband to fund an affair. I was using marital assets that I was entitled to secretly fund an extramarital relationship. That's theft, Mrs. Martinez. Your Honor, Judith intervened, Massachusetts is a no-fault divorce state, but it's also an equitable distribution state, the judge replied. And equity requires clean hands. Your client's hands are filthy. Harsh, but accurate. Then came the recording. Ezekiel played it on the courtroom speakers. Arya's voice, clear as day. Logan's an idiot. He actually thinks I'm considering dating other people. Like, I'd waste my time when I have you. I watched her face as her own words condemned her. She went pale, then red, then pale again. Once I claim emotional abuse, and maybe some financial control, I'll get the house, alimony, everything. Luna will back me up. We've been rehearsing stories. Judge O'Brien stopped the recording. Mrs. Martinez, were you planning to commit perjury? I was upset. Venting, I wasn't serious. You were rehearsing stories with your daughter. That's conspiracy to commit perjury. Objection. Overruled. Mrs. Martinez, answer the question. I was exploring options. Options that included lying under oath. Arya didn't answer. I'll take that as a yes. The character witnesses were the nail in the coffin. Mrs. O'Sullivan from next door. Logan Martinez is the best neighbor anyone could ask for. Shoveled my walk every winter for 15 years, never asked for anything. Father O'Brien. I've known Logan since he married Arya. He's been a devoted husband and father. This betrayal has shaken his faith, but not his character. My foreman, Mike. Logan's the kind of boss who remembers your kid's birthday. Gives you time off when family needs you. He deserves better than this. Then, surprisingly, Patricia Thompson took the stand. I don't know Mr. Martinez well, she said. But when he learned about the affair, he could have been cruel, could have humiliated. Instead, he was kind, considerate. That tells you everything about his character. Arya had no character witnesses. Her family refused to testify. Her friends had distanced themselves. Even Carter wouldn't speak on her behalf. Luna's testimony came via written affidavit. She'd agreed to tell the truth in exchange for immunity from conspiracy charges. Ezekiel read it aloud. I, Luna Rodriguez, acknowledge that I knew about my mother's affair for over a year. I helped her plan the open marriage deception. I agreed to provide false testimony about my father being emotionally abusive. I did this because I believe my mother's lies about my father and because I was angry about perceived neglects from my childhood. I deeply regret my actions and acknowledge that my father, Logan Martinez, was never abusive in any way. He was a good father, whom I betrayed for selfish reasons. Your own daughter, Judge O'Brien said to Arya. You turned your own daughter into a co-conspirator. She's an adult, Arya, she said weakly. An adult you manipulated from childhood, according to her statement. The ruling came after a 2-hour recess. I've seen a lot of divorce cases, Judge O'Brien began. But rarely have I seen such calculated deception. Mrs. Martinez, you didn't just cheat on your husband. You conspired to destroy him financially and emotionally. You involved your own daughter in this conspiracy. You stole marital assets to fund your affair. You planned to commit perjury. She paused, looking directly at Arya. Massachusetts allows for fault-based divorce on grounds of adultery. I find that proven beyond any doubt. As for the distribution of assets, she shuffled papers. The marital home, purchased by Mr. Martinez before the marriage and maintained primarily through his income, will remain his sole property. Your Honor, Judith stood, the house was refinanced during the marriage as collateral for Mr. Martinez's business loan, the business that Mrs. Martinez never contributed to. Sit down, counselor. She continued, Mr. Martinez's pension and 401k will remain entirely his. The joint savings account, which Mrs. Martinez depleted through fraud, will be restored from her share of other marital assets. What other assets? Arya blurted out. Your jewelry, your car, your designer clothing collection that, according to financial records, cost nearly $30,000 over the past 5 years. Those are personal items purchased with marital funds while you were stealing from your husband. They will be sold, proceeds going to Mr. Martinez. The hits kept coming. As for alimony, there will be none. Mrs. Martinez is capable of working and has shown she can be quite resourceful when motivated. Furthermore, given the fraud and attempted fraud, Mrs. Martinez will pay Mr. Martinez restitution of $47,000 to be garnished from future wages if necessary. This is outrageous. Judith was on her feet. This is justice, Judge O'Brien replied coldly. Your client made her choices. These are the consequences. But we weren't done. There's also the matter of criminal referral, the judge continued. Arya went white. Criminal, fraud, conspiracy, attempted perjury. I'm referring this case to the district attorney's office. Your Honor, please. However, the judge raised a hand. I understand the DA is willing to offer a plea deal. Ms. Malone, I suggest you advise your client to take it. The plea deal, Ezekiel explained later, was 2 years probation, 200 hours community service, and mandatory counseling. If Arya kept her nose clean, no jail time. Carter got worse, 3 years probation plus restitution for the embezzlement. His wife Patricia took everything else in their divorce. You destroyed me, Arya said to me outside the courthouse. No, I replied. You destroyed yourself. I just refused to be collateral damage. She started to say something else, then stopped, turned, walked away. I never saw her again. Luna was waiting by my truck. She looked terrible, thin, pale, hair unwashed. The designer clothes replaced by a Starbucks uniform she hadn't bothered to change out of. Dad, Luna, I testified, told the truth to save yourself from prosecution. No, she said, because it was right. Finally, I studied her. My daughter, who I'd taught to ride a bike, who'd cried on my shoulder over her first heartbreak, who'd betrayed me for a mother who'd abandoned her the moment things got difficult. Thank you for telling the truth, I said finally. Is that all for now? Yeah. Will there be a later? I thought about it. Maybe someday, but not today. I understand. She pulled out an envelope. I've been saving. It's not much. $600 toward what Mom stole. Keep it, Dad. Keep it. You're going to need it. She nodded, tears streaming. I love you. I couldn't say it back. Not yet. Instead, I got in my truck and drove away. In the rearview mirror, I saw her standing there alone, in the courthouse parking lot. Part of me wanted to turn back. I didn't. That night, Wyatt threw a party. Just a few guys from the gym, Tommy Kowalski, Polly, and, surprisingly, Amelia. You did it, she said, raising a beer. You won. Did I? Your marriage is over. Your relationship with your daughter is severed, but you're free. You're financially secure. You have friends who actually care about you. That's winning, when you put it like that. Plus, Wyatt added, 3 beers in, Arya's living with her parents, working at a gas station, and Carter's probably going to jail. If that's not winning, I don't know what is. He had a point. Around midnight, after everyone else had left, Amelia helped me clean up. What's next? She asked. I don't know. Work, Jim. Try to figure out who I am at 45 and divorced. You're Logan Martinez, she said simply. Good man, good friend, Terrible dancer, according to Wyatt, and probably the strongest person I know. I'm not strong. I'm just too stubborn to fall down. Same thing, really. She was leaving for a late shift at the restaurant when she paused at the door. Logan, that thing your daughter said about there maybe being a later, she's right. There will be, when you're ready. And when that time comes, you'll handle it with the same grace you've handled everything else. You think? I know. After she left, I sat in Wyatt's living room thinking about the future. For the first time in months, it didn't terrify me. The divorce would be final in 90 days. The house was mine. The business was thriving. I had good friends, genuine ones, and somewhere out there, maybe it was a second chance at happiness. But first, I had to finish becoming whoever I was meant to be without Arya. Without the lies, without the performance of a marriage that had been dead long before she killed it. Boston winter was coming. Cold, harsh, unforgiving. I was ready for it. June in Boston hits different when you're starting over. 6 months since the divorce was finalized, and I'd finally stopped waking up at 3 a.m. wondering where Arya was. Now, I woke up at 3 a.m. wondering who the hell I was. You're overthinking again, Issa said during our session. We'd moved from weekly to monthly meetings. Progress, she called it. I'm 46 years old and I just figured out I like hiking. That normal? You spent 23 years living someone else's version of your life. Everything you discover now is normal. The hiking thing started simple. Wyatt dragged me to Blue Hills Reservation one Saturday because he was tired of me moping around like a sad country song. 3 hours later, standing on Great Blue Hill, looking at Boston spread out below, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Peace. Just peace. You look different, Amelia said when I walked into the North End restaurant where she'd been promoted to manager. We still met for coffee every week, but she'd insisted on lunch today. Good. Different. It's the tan. Been outside more. It's not the tan. She studied me across the table. You look lighter, like someone took a weight off your shoulders. Yeah, about 200 talons of lying wife and daughter. She winced. Still bitter. Less than before, Isa says. I'm processing. And what do you say? I thought about it. I say I'm figuring out who Logan Martinez is when he's not trying to save a dead marriage. The second construction site was Wyatt's fault. Kind of. His cousin Paulie had a friend who needed a reliable contractor for a South End renovation project. Big money, bigger headaches, but the kind of challenge I used to love before everything became about keeping Arya happy. You sure about this? My foreman, Mike, asked, looking at the plans. This is double our usual workload. We hire more guys, good guys. Give some kids from the neighborhood a chance, like a mentorship thing. Why not? Someone gave me a shot once. That's how I ended up with 6 kids from Southie, all rough edges and potential. Tommy's nephew, Sean, was one of them. Turns out he was better with a nail gun than boxing gloves. Mr. M, Sean said one afternoon, why are you doing this? We're nobody to you. I was nobody once too. Someone decided I was somebody, made all the difference. The truth was simpler. Helping these kids helped me, gave me purpose beyond surviving. Amelia's night school situation came to a head in July. I can't afford next semester, she admitted over coffee. We'd moved our weekly meetings to Tuesday mornings when she didn't have classes. What about financial aid? Maxed out, restaurant pays okay, but not Boston University tuition okay. I could note, absolutely not. She cut me off. You were going to offer to pay? I was going to offer you a job. She blinked. What? The construction company needs someone to handle the books, the scheduling, the stuff I'm terrible at. Good with numbers, organized. And you don't take crap from anyone. Perfect qualifications. It's a real job, real pay. Enough for tuition, no charity. She was quiet for a long moment. Why? Because you stood by me when my own family didn't. Because you're smart and deserve a chance. Because, I paused, choosing words carefully. Because good people should help each other. She started the next Monday, had the office organized by Wednesday. By Friday, she'd found 3 billing errors that saved us $8,000. You're a miracle worker, Mike said. I wait tables in the North End. This is easy. The Community Service Award was a surprise. Boston Business Alliance, recognizing exceptional leadership and community investment. Fancy words for hiring kids from the neighborhood and not being a jerk about it. You have to go, Amelia insisted, looking at the invitation. It's a big deal. It's a room full of people in suits pretending they care about community. So you actually care? Maybe they'll learn something. The ceremony was at the Marriott Long Wharf, same hotel where Arya and Carter had their afternoons. I almost didn't go, just for that reason, but I did. Wore my good suit, the one from the divorce proceedings. Wyatt came for moral support and free food. Amelia said she'd try to make it after her shift. Standing at that podium, looking at a room full of Boston's business elite, I thought about the last year, about betrayal and survival and finding out who you are when everything else falls apart. Success isn't about what you build, I heard myself saying. It's about who you lift up while you're building it. Afterward, a bunch of people wanted to talk, to network, to exchange cards. I was heading for the exit when I saw her. Arya. She was working the event, catering uniform, carrying a tray of champagne. Our eyes met across the room. She froze, the tray shook. I could have walked over, could have said something cutting, something cruel, could have made sure everyone knew this was my ex-wife, the cheater, the thief. I just nodded and left. That was classy, Amelia said. She was waiting by my truck, still in her restaurant clothes. You saw? Yeah. You okay? You know what? Yeah, I am. And I meant it. Luna's olive branch came through Amelia, of all people. She called me, Amelia said one evening. She'd stayed late to finish payroll, and I was teaching her how to read construction blueprints. Luna. My shoulders tensed. What did she want? To apologize for real this time. She's been in therapy for 6 months. Real therapy. Not the kind where you pay someone to agree with you. Good for her. She wants to see you. I'm not ready. I know, and I told her that, but Logan... She hesitated. She's different, like, actually different. She's working 2 jobs to pay back the people she hurt, including you. I don't want her money. It's not about the money, it's about accountability. I looked at this 21-year-old woman who understood more about integrity than my own daughter had at 24. Maybe coffee, I said finally. 1 coffee, public place, no promises. I'll tell her. The coffee happened 2 weeks later, Thinking Cup on Newbury, where that viral video had been filmed. Luna looked older, thinner, worn down by consequences. Dad, Luna, thank you for coming. Amelia said, you've changed. I'm trying. She wrapped her hands around her coffee cup like she was cold. It was 75 degrees. I've been seeing someone, a therapist, Dr. Patricia Kim. She specializes in family betrayal trauma. That's specific. Yeah, well, what I did was specific. Specifically horrible. We sat in silence for a minute. Around us, normal people had normal conversations about normal things. I'm not asking for forgiveness, Luna said quietly. I know I don't deserve it. I just wanted you to know that I understand now what I did, why I did it, how Mom manipulated me, but also how I chose to go along with it. Why did you? She met my eyes for the first time. Because I was jealous. Of what? Of how much you loved her. Even when she didn't deserve it, you kept loving her. And I wanted someone to love me that much, but I was too broken to accept it. So I broke you instead. It was the most honest thing she'd said to me in years. I can't just forgive you, Luna. I know. It's going to take time, a lot of time. I know that too. But I took a breath. I'm willing to try. Slowly, she started crying. Quiet tears, not the manipulative sobs from before. Once a month, I said. Coffee, we talk, no promises beyond that. That's more than I deserve. Yeah, I agreed. It is. The Red Sox game was supposed to be simple. A year since the divorce, Amelia had gotten us tickets through the restaurant. They had a corporate connection, and honestly, I just wanted to watch baseball without drama. These are incredible seats, I said, settling in behind home plate. The owner likes me. I got his wife a table on Valentine's Day when everywhere was booked. Amelia was wearing a Sox jersey and jeans, looking like any other 20-something at Fenway, except she wasn't any other 20-something. This feels weird, she said suddenly. What does? Us here. It feels like a date. My stomach did something complicated. Does it, Logan? She turned to face me. I need to say something, and I need you to let me finish. Okay? I have feelings for you. Real ones. Not pity, not some weird daddy issues thing, which is what Luna said when I told her. You told Luna. Let me finish. I know there's an age gap. 24 years. I know what people would say. I know all the reasons this is a bad idea, but I also know that you're the best man I've ever met. You're kind and loyal and funny when you let yourself be. And when I'm with you, I feel like the best version of myself. The crack of the bat interrupted. Someone hit a double. The crowd roared. We sat in silence. Say something, she finally whispered. I'm 46. I can do math. You have your whole life ahead of you. My life that I want to share with someone who actually sees me, not some 20-something guy who thinks dinner at Chipotle is romance. People will talk. People already talk. I'm the girl who helped take down Luna Rodriguez's mom. You think I care about gossip? I looked at her, really looked. She wasn't the quiet girl who'd helped me move furniture anymore. She was confident, successful, beautiful in a way that had nothing to do with age. I have feelings too, I admitted. Been fighting them for months. Why? Because you deserve better than some divorced construction worker with trust issues and a complicated relationship with his daughter. What if that's exactly what I want? The Sox scored. Fireworks went off, and Amelia White kissed me right there in Fenway Park in front of God and 37,000 Boston fans. When we pulled apart, some guy behind us yelled, "About time." Even strangers could see what I'd been denying. Wyatt's reaction was predictable. You're dating Amelia? Luna's friend Amelia. 21-year-old Amelia. 22, she corrected. Her birthday was last month. Oh, well, 22. He opened another beer. You lost your mind? Maybe. What happens when she realizes you're old enough to be her father? We've discussed it. What happens when she wants kids and you're ready for retirement? We haven't discussed that. What happens when Luna finds out? She already knows. That stopped him. And she said, if Amelia makes me happy and I make Amelia happy, then she has no right to an opinion. Huh? Wyatt considered this. That's actually mature. Therapy's working still. You sure about this? It's going to be complicated. Everything in my life is complicated. At least this complication makes me happy. He clinked his beer against mine. Then I'm happy for you, brother. But if she hurts you, you'll... What? She's young, not helpless. Girl could probably take you. Yeah, probably. Amelia's parents were another story. You want me to meet them? I nearly choked on my coffee. They know I'm seeing someone. They're getting suspicious about why I won't bring him around. Because him is old enough to have dated their daughter's mother. You didn't date my mother. She's 58 and lives in Florida with her third husband. You know what I mean? Logan, I'm not hiding you. Either we do this for real, or we don't do it at all. So there I was, Sunday dinner in Medford, sitting across from Tom and Nancy White, explaining how I knew their daughter. You're Luna Rodriguez's father, Nancy said. Not a question. Yes. The one whose wife... Mom, enough. Amelia warned. I'm just clarifying. You have children Amelia's age? Nancy studied me. A daughter? Yes, we're working on our relationship. And you think it's appropriate to date someone your daughter's age? Tom finally spoke up. Nancy, enough. I'm just asking what everyone's thinking. No, I said. You're asking what a concerned parent should ask. I'd ask the same thing. The age gap is significant. It's unconventional. Some would say inappropriate. Some would be right, Nancy muttered. Mom, but... I continued. Your daughter's the most remarkable person I've met. She stood by me when my own family betrayed me. She's brilliant, kind, and way too good for me. I'm not here to convince you otherwise. I'm here because Amelia wanted you to meet me, and I'd do anything for her, including sitting here while you rightfully question my intentions. Tom laughed. Actually laughed. I like him. He's honest. And look at Em, Tom added. When's the last time you saw her this happy? Nancy looked at her daughter. Amelia was smiling. That genuine smile I'd come to love. If you hurt her, Nancy started, you'll hurt me. I know. Join the line. Wyatt's already threatened me. Luna's threatened me. Half of Boston's probably waiting to threaten me. Good, Nancy said. Then softer. Stay for dessert. The business partnership happened naturally. Amelia had been handling the books for 6 months when she came to me with a proposal. We're leaving money on the table, she said, spreading out spreadsheets. Construction's great, but renovations are where the real money is, especially historic renovations. Boston's full of old buildings that need updating. We don't have the expertise. We could. Sean's been taking night classes in historical preservation. Mike's cousin does restoration work. We bring them in, build a team. That's a major expansion. That's why you make me a partner. I run the business side, you run the construction side, 50-50. You're 22. And I just found $8,000 in billing errors and landed us 3 new contracts. Age is just a number. You'd be tied to me professionally if this, I gestured between us, goes badly. It won't. You can't know that. She leaned across the desk. Logan Martinez, I love you. I've loved you since you helped me move out of my crappy apartment with that jackass ex. I loved you when you were broken, and I love you now that you're healing. Making me your business partner won't change that. Though it might make me love you more because, honestly, the profit margins on renovation are insane. I laughed. God help me. This young woman talking of profit margins made my heart race. Draw up the papers. Already did. She pulled out a folder. Wyatt's cousin Polly looked them over. Just need your signature. You were that confident? I'm always confident about us. Martinez and White Construction and Restoration was official by September. The inevitable encounter happened at a Starbucks in October. Aria was ordering when we walked in. She turned, saw us holding hands, and her face went through about 12 emotions in 3 seconds. Logan, Amelia, Aria. She looked older, grayer, diminished. The catering uniform had been replaced by a gas station polo shirt. You're together, she said. Not quite a question. We are? How long? Couple months officially, Amelia answered. Longer, unofficially. Arya's jaw tightened. You were waiting for your chance, weren't you? Playing the friend, the helper, just waiting. Stop. I cut her off. Whatever you're thinking, stop. You don't get to rewrite this story too. She's 22, Logan, and more woman than you ever were, Amelia said quietly. The barista called Arya's name. She grabbed her coffee and left without another word. You okay? Amelia asked. Yeah, you? Honestly, I feel sorry for her. She had everything and threw it away for nothing. Carter wasn't nothing. Carter's in minimum security prison for embezzlement. So yeah, pretty much nothing. We ordered our coffee and left. Life went on. It does that, even when your ex-wife tries to make you feel guilty for finding happiness. Father's Day arrived like an ambush. I'd been successfully ignoring it when a package appeared on my doorstep. No return address, but I recognized Luna's handwriting. Inside was a photo album. 24 years of memories, Luna's first steps, her high school graduation. That time we built a treehouse and it immediately fell down, both of us laughing in the wreckage. The note was simple. You were always a good father. I was just too broken to see it. Happy Father's Day, L. You going to call her? Wyatt asked. He'd come over to watch the game, but really to make sure I wasn't alone. I don't know. It's been a year and a half, Logan. Maybe it's time. I picked up my phone, put it down, picked it up again. Finally, I texted, thank you for the album. 3 dots appeared immediately, then disappeared, then appeared again. You're welcome. I love you, Dad. I stared at those words for a long time, then typed back, love you too, kiddo. It wasn't forgiveness. It wasn't everything being okay, but it was something. Luna's master's graduation was the next month. I don't even know if I should go, she'd said during our monthly coffee. We'd been meeting regularly for almost a year now. Small steps. Why wouldn't you? Because I don't deserve to celebrate. Not after everything. You worked for that degree, paid for it yourself after losing your scholarship. That's worth celebrating. Will you come? The question hung between us. Yeah, I said finally, I'll come. The ceremony was at Boston College's stadium. Hot July day. Thousands of families celebrating. I sat alone in the bleachers watching my daughter cross that stage. She looked different, older, sure, but also settled, like she'd finally stopped running from herself. Afterward, I found her in the crowd. Dad, you came. Said I would. She hugged me. First real hug in 2 years, I hugged her back. I'm proud of you, Luna. She started crying. I don't deserve... Stop. You earned this. You faced your mistakes, got help, made amends where you could. That takes courage. Amelia said the same thing. Amelia's smart. She's good for you. Yeah, she is. Luna pulled back, studying my face. You love her. I do. I'm glad you deserve someone who sees your worth. Coming from the daughter who'd helped destroy my marriage, that meant something. The therapy revelation came in September. I need to tell you something, Luna said during coffee. About Mom. I don't want to hear about Arya. This is important. She wrote me a letter. I tensed and she apologized. Like, really apologized. Said she poisoned me against you, used me, manipulated me, said it was all her fault. You believe her? I think she's finally hit bottom, lost everything, including me. Sometimes that's what it takes to see clearly. Good for her. She wants to apologize to you too. No, Dad. Luna, I've forgiven a lot from you because you're my daughter, and you've actually changed. But your mother? No. Some bridges are meant to stay burned. She nodded. I understand. I just thought you should know. Now I know. Later, I told Amelia about it. You think I'm being too harsh? I think you're protecting yourself. That's healthy. Issa says the same thing, that forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation. Isa's smart too. I'm surrounded by smart women. Finally figured that out, did you? Thanksgiving tested everything. I want to cook dinner, Luna announced in early November. For you and Amelia and Wyatt, if he wants. Just family. Luna, please, Dad. I need to do this to prove I can contribute something positive instead of just destruction. So there we were. Thanksgiving Day in Luna's tiny apartment that she shared with two roommates who'd gone home for the holiday. The turkey was a little dry, the stuffing a little burnt, but she'd tried, really tried. This is nice, Amelia said and meant it. You don't have to lie, Luna laughed. The turkey's terrible. The turkey's character building, Wyatt said through a mouthful. Like eating jerky. Thanks for that visual. We laughed. Actually laughed, like a family. I need to say something, Luna stood up. I know this doesn't fix everything. I know that I can't undo what I did, but sitting here with you all, this is what I threw away. What I helped Mom throw away. And I'm so sorry, so deeply sorry. Luna, let me finish. Dad, I spent so many years angry at you for working too much, for missing things. But you were working for us, to give us a good life, and I was too selfish to see it. You were young, I was old enough to know better, but I'm learning in therapy and life, learning that love isn't about grand gestures. It's about showing up day after day, the way you did for 23 years, the way you're showing up now. I'm trying. I know. Amelia reached over and squeezed Luna's hand, which we all are. Later, doing dishes because, of course, Luna didn't have a dishwasher, she said, I want to be in your lives. Whatever that looks like, however you'll have me. We'll figure it out day by day. That's all I could ask for. It was more than I'd thought possible a year ago. Sometimes that's how healing works, slowly, imperfectly, but steadily forward. 2 years. That's how long I waited to propose. You sure about this? Wyatt asked, looking at the ring. I've never been more sure of anything. It's a big step. It's the right step. What about kids? She's going to want kids. We've talked about it. Maybe, maybe not. We're figuring it out. And Luna? I already asked her. Wyatt's eyebrows shot up. You asked Luna for permission to marry Amelia? Not permission, blessing. There's a difference, and she cried. Then said Amelia would be lucky to have me. Then cried some more. That girl's done a lot of growing up. We all have. The proposal plan was elaborate. Harbor cruise, sunset, the whole production. I'd arranged everything with the cruise company, even had a photographer hidden among the passengers. Of course, Amelia knew. You've been checking your pocket every 30 seconds, she said as we boarded. Either you have the ring, or you've developed a very specific nervous tic. Maybe it's a nervous tic. Logan Martinez, are you going to propose to me on this boat? Maybe. Then maybe I should put on the dress I brought just in case. She held up a bag. You brought a dress? I've been carrying this dress for 2 weeks. You're not as subtle as you think. So you knew? I suspected. Luna confirmed it yesterday. Luna. She was excited, couldn't help herself. So this whole thing is pointless. No, she said, pulling me close. It's perfect because you planned it, because you care enough to make it special, because you're you. When I got down on one knee as the sun set over Boston Harbor, she was crying before I even spoke. Amelia White, you saved me when I didn't know I needed saving. You stood by me when... Yes, I haven't asked yet. Ask faster. Will you marry me? Yes. The boat erupted in applause. Someone had been live streaming. We went viral for the second time, but this time for something beautiful. Wedding planning with a 24-year-old was different. I don't want a DJ, Amelia announced. I want a band. A good band? Bands are expensive. We own a successful construction and restoration company. We can afford a band. Small wedding, right? Define small. 50 people. I have 60 cousins. 60, Irish Catholic family. We multiply. In the end, we compromised on 100 guests. The ceremony would be in Boston Common, the reception at a restaurant in the North End, where Amelia still had connections. I want Luna to be part of it, Amelia said one night. You sure? She's your daughter. She's done the work. She should be there. What about maid of honor? My sister. But Luna could do a reading. I'll ask her. Luna cried when I asked, getting to be a theme with her. Really? You want me there? Amelia wants you there. I want you there. After everything, because of everything. We've come through it. We're stronger. She chose a Mary Oliver poem about resurrection, about rising from ashes. It was perfect. The letter from Arya arrived a week before the wedding. Logan, I know I have no right to contact you. I know you'll probably throw this away unread, but I need to say this. Even if you never see it, I'm sorry. Not the manipulative sorry I used to weaponize. Real sorry. Deep, soul-crushing, keep-me-awake-at-night sorry. I destroyed our family for nothing. For a man who didn't love me. For a fantasy that didn't exist. I turned our daughter against you. I stole from you. I tried to paint you as a villain when you were the only hero in our story. I know about Amelia. Luna told me. At first, I was angry. How dare you move on? How dare you be happy? But then I realized that's who you are. You rebuild. You rise. You find light, even after people like me try to extinguish it. Be happy, Logan. You deserve it. You always deserved better than me. I won't contact you again. This is goodbye, Arya. I showed it to Amelia. How do you feel? She asked. Honestly, nothing. It's like getting a letter from a stranger. That's probably healthy. Think she means it? Doesn't matter. What matters is us, our future. Our future, I repeated. I like the sound of that. October wedding in Boston. Peak foliage, crisp air, the city showing off like it knew we were celebrating. Luna stood at the podium, steady and clear. When death comes, like the hungry bear in autumn. When death comes and takes all the bright coins from his purse to buy me and snaps the purse shut. I want to step through the door full of curiosity, wondering, what is it going to be like, that cottage of darkness? And therefore, I look upon everything as a brotherhood and a sisterhood, and I think of each life as a flower, as common as a field daisy, and as singular. And each name a comfortable music in the mouth, tending, as all music does, towards silence. And each body a lion of courage and something precious to the earth. When it's over, I want to say, all my life I was a bride married to amazement. Her voice broke slightly on singular, but she continued. Today, we celebrate a different kind of resurrection. Two people who found each other in the ashes and chose to build something beautiful. There wasn't a dry eye in the house. Wyatt's best man speech was shorter. Logan's my brother, not by blood, but by choice. I watched him go through hell. Watched him crawl out. Watched him learn to smile again. Amelia did that. She brought him back to life. So Amelia, welcome to the family. Take care of my boy. Always, Amelia said from her seat. The vows were simple. We'd written them together, arguing over every word like we argued over paint colors for the office. Logan, Amelia said, you were 46 and broken when we started. I was 21 and lost. Everyone said we were wrong for each other, too different, too complicated. But what they didn't see was that we were exactly what each other needed. You taught me strength. I taught you joy. Together, we learned that love isn't about perfect timing or ideal circumstances. It's about choosing each other every day, especially on the hard days. Amelia, I replied, you walked into my life when I thought it was over. You showed me it was just beginning. You're young enough to be my daughter, but wise enough to be my partner. You're my business partner, my best friend, my second chance at a life I didn't know was possible. I promise to love you, to support your dreams, to dance badly at every opportunity, and to never, ever take you for granted. I now pronounce you husband and wife, the officiant said. Mr. Martinez, you may kiss your bride. Mrs. Martinez, I whispered before kissing her. Miss White Martinez, she corrected against my lips. Modern woman, remember? The reception was perfect chaos. Amelia's 60 cousins knew how to party. My construction crew cleaned up nice. Luna gave another speech, shorter this time, about redemption and forgiveness and second chances. To my dad and Amelia, she raised her glass. Proof that sometimes the best things come from the worst situations. Around midnight, as things were winding down, I found myself outside with Luna. Thank you, I said, for being here, for the poem, for everything. Thank you for letting me. We're good. We're getting there day by day. That's enough. Mom sent a gift, she said quietly. I didn't know if I should tell you. What kind of gift? Check for the honeymoon. The full amount she stole? Actually, how? She sold everything, moved to a studio in Worcester. Been working 2 jobs. Keep it, Dad. Give it to charity or keep it yourself. I don't want her money. She's trying. Good for her. But that's her journey, not mine. Luna hugged me. I love you, Dad. I couldn't say it back. Not yet. Instead, I got in my truck and drove away. In the rearview mirror, I saw her standing there alone in the courthouse parking lot. Part of me wanted to turn back. I didn't. That night, Wyatt threw a party. Just a few guys from the gym. Tommy Kowalski, Polly, and surprisingly, Amelia. You did it, she said, raising a beer. You won. Did I? Your marriage is over. Your relationship with your daughter is severed, but you're free. You're financially secure. You have friends who actually care about you. That's winning. When you put it like that. Plus, Wyatt added 3 beers in, Arya's living with her parents, working at a gas station, and Carter's probably going to jail. If that's not winning, I don't know what is. He had a point. Around midnight, after everyone else had left, Amelia helped me clean up. What's next? She asked. I don't know. Work, gym. Try to figure out who I am at 45 and divorced. You're Logan Martinez, she said simply. Good man, good friend, terrible dancer according to Wyatt, and probably the strongest person I know. I'm not strong, I'm just too stubborn to fall down. Same thing, really. She was leaving for a late shift at the restaurant when she paused at the door. Logan, that thing your daughter said about there maybe being a later, she's right. There will be, when you're ready. And when that time comes, you'll handle it with the same grace you've handled everything else. You think? I know. After she left, I sat in Wyatt's living room thinking about the future. For the first time in months, it didn't terrify me. The divorce would be final in 90 days. The house was mine. The business was thriving. I had good friends, genuine ones. And somewhere out there, maybe, was a second chance at happiness. But first, I had to finish becoming whoever I was meant to be without Arya. Without the lies, without the performance of a marriage that had been dead long before she killed it. Boston winter was coming. Cold, harsh, unforgiving. I was ready for it. Daddy, tell me the story again. My 4-year-old daughter, Sophie White Martinez, had her mother's eyes and my stubborn streak. Which story, baby? The one about how you met Mommy. That's a complicated story. I like complicated, she said, which was pure Amelia. Well, once upon a time, Daddy was very sad. Why? Because someone had been mean to him. Who? That doesn't matter anymore. What matters is that Mommy helped Daddy be happy again. How? By being kind, by being patient, by making really good lasagna. Amelia laughed from the doorway. Is that what won you over? My lasagna? Among other things. She sat on the bed with us, 8 months pregnant with our second child. The age gap that everyone worried about had become irrelevant. We were just a family. Aunt Luna's coming for dinner, right? Sophie asked. Yes, baby. Aunt Luna and her boyfriend. Luna had finally found someone good. A therapist, ironically, who understood broken people because he'd been broken too. They were getting married next spring. I'd be walking her down the aisle. And Uncle Wyatt? Always. Uncle Wyatt. Wyatt had finally settled down too, with a nurse from the hospital where he'd ended up after a minor heart attack. Nothing like almost dying to make you reevaluate, he'd said. The construction company had 6 locations now. Amelia ran the business side like a Fortune 500 CEO. I still ran job sites, still mentored kids from the neighborhood. We'd found our rhythm. Daddy, yeah, baby. Were you really sad before Mommy? I thought about it. About Arya living quietly in Worcester, remarried to someone from her church. About the 23 years that felt like a different lifetime. About betrayal and pain and thinking your life was over at 45. Yeah, I was really sad, but not anymore. No, not anymore. Good, Sophie said, snuggling into my chest. I don't like when you're sad. Me neither, Amelia said, rubbing her belly. But sometimes sad has to happen for happy to follow. That's very philosophical for a 4-year-old's bedtime. She's advanced. Gets it from me. The humility, too, clearly. Sophie was already asleep, drooling slightly on my shirt. We tucked her in and walked to our bedroom, the master suite in the house I'd once shared with Arya, now completely renovated and full of new memories. You ever regret it? Amelia asked. The age gap, the complications, all of it. Never. You never? She took my hand, placed it on her belly. He's kicking. He's going to be a fighter. Like his dad, like both his parents. We stood there, feeling our son move. Thinking about the journey, the betrayal that broke me, the divorce that freed me, the young woman who saved me, the daughter who found her way back, the life we'd built from the ashes. Logan. Yeah, we did good, didn't we? We did better than good. We did amazing. And we had, against all odds, against all logic, against everyone's expectations, we'd built something beautiful, something lasting, something real. The text from Luna lit up my phone. Dad, thank you for not giving up on me. Love you. I texted back, I love you too, kiddo. Always have, always will, Amelia read over my shoulder. She's come a long way. We all have. Think we're done growing? God, I hope not. That would be boring. She laughed. Never boring with you, Mr. Martinez. Never boring with you, Miss White Martinez. Outside, Boston slept. Inside, our family grew. Life, real life, not the performance I'd lived for 23 years, continued. And honestly, it was everything I never knew I wanted.